When a market's unpredictable, people generally do nothing. They will sit, they will watch, and they will wait, hoping, of course, for that perfect moment where everything hits and they can take their action. But the truth is, the best opportunities are always not obvious. And in this video today, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do instead of just waiting while you're trying to buy your first home, or maybe looking to upgrade from your first to your second property. In today's video, we're going to cover 4 things. We're going to cover why right now waiting might actually cost you more than taking action, what smart GTA buyers and sellers are actually doing right now to move forward in the market, how to spot an opportunity, of course, in an uncertain market like we currently have, and what actions you can take today, even if you are not 100% sure that you do want to get into the real estate market. Let's talk about it. Waiting for things to settle. Of course, there's a big dust cloud right now in our real estate market of what is going to happen. Are things going to get better? Are they going to get worse? What actually is even going on? And the truth is, nobody truly knows if the market's going to get significantly better, significantly worse, or just stay the same. Right now in the GTA, of course, we've had rates adjust back down. We had them skyrocket over the last few years, and now we're just trying to figure out what this market's going to look like over the course of the next couple of years here. And of course, many people are thinking, should we wait for those rates to come back down? Maybe we're waiting for the prices to come down even further. Now, the problem is this thinking does ignore certain things. We don't know what happens if the prices drop down to a certain level. Is there that breaking point at which everybody does want to jump into the market because it just seems like it's too good to be true? If condos make their average price way down to 450 grand, is that where that trigger point is? If detached homes are all $1 million, 800 grand, 700 grand, whatever that number ends up being, is there a certain number that we're waiting for where everybody who's on the sidelines wants to jump in? The truth is, we don't know. Only so many people are going to be patient enough to actually try and potentially time that bottom. And if you're trying to time something, it rarely ever works. Time in the actual market, of course, is better than timing the market. Real estate is a long-term investment. If you're thinking short-term, you should think about another opportunity out there to utilize your capital. If you don't need a house, maybe invest in something else that's out there. If you need a home, think about it from a 5 to 10 to even longer term perspective. Of course, you can move your mortgage from property to property, potentially, depending on the type of mortgage you get. But don't think about a house as building equity necessarily. Think about it as an option to have a roof over your head and potentially build some equity in the property as time goes on. If you're trying to figure out this whole market thing, it's just going to leave you more confused than anything else at the end of the day. Now, what are some of these first-time home buyers actually doing right now that's going to work in their favor? Well, they are making offers with conditions. These conditions are really imperative when you're putting an offer on a property. You don't want to be going in blind like we've had in the past with all the bidding wars. If you're competing with other people, let somebody else take that risk on. Me personally, I would say, hey, there's a lot of other homes out there, especially if you're looking for condos. Don't be jumping at something because it's flashy and it's new and maybe there's a new renovation. Buyers also are having the opportunity to negotiate, and that's something that we're seeing quite a bit. You're able to negotiate on a lot of these prices, and you'll see it time and time again, at least on the agent side of things, where we get that response from the listing agent, and their response is, just send me anything. Just send me an offer. You don't know how desperate some of these sellers are. So as a first-time buyer, your options might get a little bit sweeter as you start to put those offers in. And the beauty is you don't have to actually move forward with something unless you have an agreed upon price. And closing flexibility is also something that as a first-time home buyer, you're likely going to get a lot of your terms met. So if you're able to get conditions, price, and your closing date, it's just a great puzzle that you're able to fit together that actually makes sense, like a traditional market would be, whereas we haven't seen this in the last 5 years here in the GTA at least. Now, of course, we don't want to get this panic buying that we see. 2021, this panic buying was nuts. You're trying to find the needle in the haystack home that sold for under asking, whereas now we're seeing majority of homes under asking and a select few going over asking. But you don't want to be kicking yourself in the future if you're kind of on the fence about getting in the market now, and then you're going to ask yourself, well, I should have bought, because all of a sudden the prices do go up. Maybe we hit whatever that threshold is. That doesn't mean right now. That means whenever this happens. It could be months, it could be years down the road, but just keep that in mind. You have to find a threshold in your head that makes sense, crunching all your numbers, seeing what works, and then you can move forward confident that you've made the right decision buying a home and you're not going to regret it in the future. Now, move up buyers, the biggest missed opportunity here for them is if you already own a condo and you're seeing it trading or selling for less than what you paid for it or less than what it was worth last year, it's instinctively going to make you in your head think it's not a good time to sell. I'm not making any money on my property. But here's the thing. If you're not considering the other side of the situation on that upgrade, that home you're looking to get is probably bigger in size, costs more money, and it's probably lost at least the same value, which means that your percentage that you're taking off of your condo is going to be an even larger dollar amount on that next move up property. So move up buyers, you're in that unique position where, yes, it's not going to sell for what it's going to sell for in 2022, but you're going to be able to make a more affordable move than you were a few years ago. And the gap between your current property and the next property is smaller than it was in the past. So smart move up buyers, they're actually using this opportunity right now to look for longer term value and something that's making sense for them in that long-term trajectory, whether it's family, grandparents, whatever that house looks like, who's going to live there with you in the future. They're looking at this big picture and saying, hey, could I see myself here for 10, 15 years? And if that all works out for you, move up buyers is a great missed opportunity right now. If you think just because that property you're selling isn't making money that you shouldn't make that move. Now, when you're looking at all this, the right mindset is actually an uncertain mindset. You don't have to be 100% certain to take any action on anything. You need to actually be prepared for what the situations are actually going to bring you. So you have to honestly know your buying power. You have to understand your home's current value and true value. So make sure you're getting it from a source that you trust. And you actually have to have a plan. If you're making that transition to sell and to buy, what does that plan look like? Where is the process in terms of, do you sell first? Do you buy first? What's that threshold and price that you can move up? What's that bottom line that you can actually sell your property to make this make sense? So make sure you're informed on these situations and don't just look at the news headlines, because it's not going to help you in making this big decision. It is general as can be. If you're looking at the news headlines, they're pulling out certain things that are going to pique interest, but it's not working towards your situation if you're looking to get more space for your family. Or if you're looking to buy your first home, maybe some of these headlines are freaking you out, but there's always opportunity in every single market. Now, if you're actually unsure of what to do in your first-time home buyer, you should probably inquire about getting pre-approved. There's no rush. If you want to get pre-approved, see what that looks like on the purchase price side of things. It's absolutely going to give you a better frame of reference when you are thinking, do I want to go forward with something or not? Because once you get your number, it's going to tell you whether or not instinctively you are interested in moving forward, or you really don't want to be in that bracket of whatever the properties are popping up, whether it's a small condo or a townhouse and you need it detached. It's going to give you more clarity. You also need to start exploring that budget once you get it, to see if maybe you need to leave the area that you're hoping to be in. Where do you actually have to go to get what you're looking for in your budget? You want to recognize value and some of these red flags as you're doing your research. And of course, whoever you're working with, whether it's your mortgage agents, your lawyers, they're going to give you some more clarity, the realtor as well, on some red flags you need to avoid, some things you need to consider, and making sure that the process makes sense for you. And of course, they're there. If you have any questions, you have to approach them with the questions. Don't leave those questions unanswered and still move forward, or potentially just stop that process altogether. Now, for the move-up buyers, some of the things that you should do if you are currently uncertain, one would be get your current home evaluated. Of course, if you don't know where your home is going to sell for, you can't really move forward with anything. Map out your next property needs and wants, because you're going to want to take a look with your needs and wants. What's out there on the current market? What does that price point look like compared to what your home value is? This is going to show you what that gap is from your property that you're currently at to that next property, and it may or may not be feasible. And of course, you're not going to find a 10 out of 10 out there, because you're going to get competition on that 10 out of 10, and it's just going to mean you're looking for a home forever. Look for something that's a 7, 8 out of 10. It's perfect. It leaves some room for you to actually make some improvements on the home, because I'd much rather make it my own than buy somebody else's rental that they've actually paid for. And of course, there is some general things you need to know out there. One is talk to somebody who knows the market inside and out. Even if you don't want to buy today or sell today, getting informed by somebody who's actually paying attention to the market all the time, because most buyers and sellers, you're paying attention for a small period of time. You're paying attention when you're active, before, maybe just a couple months after, once you've sold your property, just to see how your investment is, and that's it. Everything in between, you're really just detached from the real estate market. So you need to make sure you're informed about the market, what's going on there, and then don't rely on the media. Of course, rely on your plan, whatever those stepping stones that you've built out in your plan are. If they make sense to you and the numbers work, that's what's more important. Don't let the headlines scare you off from what the potential is for you in this market, because every market does absolutely have potential. There's still lots of people buying every single day. It's just slower than it was several years ago. So if you're stuck wondering, waiting, do I need to act? Is time to maybe get some more clarity for myself in this market? You can always book a call or text me at the number on screen. We can figure out what makes sense for you. You might not be thinking about doing anything for the next 12 to 36 months or more, but getting some clarity on what those stepping stones look like to get your first home or to make that move from one home to the next, because they can be a little bit tedious, especially if you involve kids in the process. You can always reach out to me. I'd be happy to help. I hope you guys were able to get some information today in this video of what not to do in such an uncertain market. And if you enjoyed this video, I hope one of these other 2 videos here gives you some great value as well. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.